Okay, this is our first song in Beginning Rock Guitar, Book 1, and it's called Peter Gunn Blues. And it's based on a detective show from the 60s, TV show. But I'll talk more about that later on. I'm just going to play through it, and I'm just going to go through it once, up to speed, with the ending after I finish the 12 bars. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay. Now, the original cop show, or actually it was like it was popular to call detectives like private eyes, hired private eye. And that was the Peter Gunn show that was from around 1958 through 1961. I remember going to see it, like that was back, I think TV was still black and white. We didn't have color TV at that point, and I think maybe later on they were colorized, but these shows, but I remember going to my grandmother's house and maybe seeing it on Sunday early or very early evenings, like around 5, 6 o'clock. And I remember watching it, but I don't remember a lot about it. I don't remember anything about any of the particular shows. And but you can see it on YouTube. Actually, you can hear the theme, and the theme was written by Henry Mancini, who also did the Pink Panther theme, and he was is a very well-known composer in Hollywood, and Henry Mancini. And the actual riff. Now, I've got the capo at the 5th fret to help your fingers reach everything, but the actual riff was in the key of F, and I think the song was in F, and it was like really harder to play in F because you don't have any open strings hardly. It's like... And it had that little slur, which I'm not doing in this. We're doing a much simpler version. And the version that we're doing is what you hear most blues bands, if they do, like the Blues Brothers, if you've ever seen the Blues Brothers movie. But when the Blues Brothers were brought on stage, I think often they played the Peter Gunn theme. Jimi Hendrix used it. Early surf bands, instrumental bands, guitar bands like the Ventures played Peter Gunn theme. So it's been used by many people. The theme, and kind of even Freddie King's Hideaway. Then it goes into a verse where... And I don't think he's playing it correctly, but then he plays it maybe more correctly on the next string, but it's I remember I was playing it the way Freddie King did, and this keyboard player was really throwing him off one night when we were doing that tune. But it's in Hideaway. It's but anyway, what we're doing is taking it through a 12-bar blues, and the I know I talk too much about all that stuff, but let's go on to the details. Now, notice what it says underneath the first measure. Place the 3rd and 4th fingers together. Place 3 and 4 together. And so when the last 2 notes of the measure, it's like, here's the frets. It's O, O, 2, O, 3, O, 5, 4. Those are the fret numbers. And the fingers, you're using 1st finger on 2nd fret, 2nd finger on 3rd fret, and then you put the third and fourth fingers down simultaneously. And when you do that, you might have to practice doing that. That might slow you down in the beginning. You might not like it, but actually 4 and 3 don't alternate real dexterously, so it's good to put them down together, and then so you're putting them down on frets 5 and 4, and the first note you're hitting is fret 5, and then you take the pinky off, and your third finger's already on fret 4. So it's kind of like a pre-prep, but you're putting 2 fingers down as if they are one finger. And one thing to be careful about is you don't want them all like in a weird angle. You want the third finger to be pretty squarely down, and the pinky will bow out. Notice how mine's bowed out a little bit. And so you want to put them down that way with some separation of the fingers. So you might have to practice the open string to 5 to 4 very deliberately, putting them down together, or just practice putting them down together, kind of just tapping the string and then lifting the pinky. So that's going to be a little tricky, but that's what I highly recommend, and you'll get used to it after a while. So, sorry, I missed it, So it is a little tricky because the pinky is a very small finger. You've got a very small surface, and you're actually putting it down a little bit on its side. So you're putting it down on the side edge of the fingertip. And so it's pretty straightforward. We go through a 12-bar blues. You do it 4 times, 4 measures on the 5th string. And then you take it across the street to the 4th string. Back to the 5th string, back across the street, and then across the street to the 6th string, and you do it twice, back to the 5th string twice. Now the tricky thing is the ending. It's 0, 0, 3, 4, 5, 0, 3, 4, 0, 0, 3, 4, 0. And remember, we're in second position, so when you see 3, 4, it's fingers 2 and 3. So the finger number is 1 digit off from the fret number, 1 digit lower than the fret number. And that's the way second position is. But often we play a lot of things in second position, so hopefully you're getting a little bit used to that by now. But it's so the first fret you grab is not the first finger, it's the second finger, and then hold all 3 fingers as you go 3, 4, 5, and then it's 0, 3, 4, 0, 0, 3, 4, 0. So from the 5th string, the 2 measures before this, the regular Peter Gunn riff, then you stay on that string, and I wouldn't even slow down much toward the end, but so hopefully that explains the trickiness, tricky little spots in this riff, but just have fun with it. I would just play the first measure until you're comfortable with the frets and putting the 3rd and 4th fingers down together and all of that. Just really get comfortable with that and just stay on it for 5 minutes, just one string. Notice how I'm accenting. It's like heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light. So it's with 8th notes, it's sort of like on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Make sure you're in touch with the counting and you understand there's really no variation. It's all eighth notes on this page, but it's if you just hit an open string, count it out loud: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then try the riff: and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the way 4/4 time is. When you divide each beat into a pair of eighth notes, it's sort of heavy, light, heavy, light. Not extremely heavy, though. It's much the way that we accent syllables, when we talk. And we don't think about it. We just do it now, naturally, innately. And that's the way you want to get with the music, is to be able to accent things. Sometimes you have to think about it, but you want to get to where you don't have to think about it so much. It's good to be a thinking guitarist, but you have to get things under your fingers. Fingers have a memory, and it's not always a good idea to totally rely on your finger memory. Believe me, that'll get you in trouble. But there's also memory of how it looks on the page, memory of how it sounds to your ear, and so that's 3 types of memory. And then also understanding music theory, which would be a 4th type way of memorizing something. And this would be a good riff to memorize so that you can really watch your hands. And I would do it slow at first. I'm going to do it slowly going out. I'm going to do it one time through with a very slow rhythm. So you could practice this at the end of this video first, and then try to do it up to speed later. So I'm going to go ahead and do it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Start at this speed. If you can't do it at this speed, go slower and use a metronome to gradually get yourself up to this speed. Maybe I miss a few notes, it's okay. Nobody's a perfect guitar player, right? String twice, 5th string twice, before going to the ending. You could repeat the whole thing, but I'm going to go to the ending. Hopefully I didn't speed up as I played through that, but also, besides going, you should go to YouTube and listen to the original Peter Gunn theme. Just look up Peter Gunn theme. If I haven't already mentioned this, I can't remember what I said in the beginning of the video. But, and you can also watch the show. There are episodes of the Peter Gunn show on YouTube. And, I haven't really watched one all the way through because, I don't know, I don't think it was a real exciting show. Maybe, and it was, I think, a guy named Craig Stevens, who was the private eye called Peter Gunn. And there were various episodes where he was a private eye and he solved things. Maybe he was hired by a woman to look out for her husband and see if he was cheating on her or whatever. But but it was one of those 60s cop shows that was. I think I thought it was kind of cool because I liked the theme and I liked the way the detectives wore a hat, and I thought they were really cool looking. So I watched it, but I didn't really. I mean, I was probably about 5 years old. I can't remember. And when I got my first guitar, I probably played the Peter Gunn theme. Was the first thing I ever learned, and I figured it out by ear. And I played it with probably one finger like that. Don't do it this way, you know. But I did it fast, you know, kind of like that. Now I remember that was the first thing I ever figured out how to play was the Peter Gunn theme, and I was probably 10 years old, maybe 11, but I think I was 10, and then I didn't do much with the guitar until I had a friend who got me into, because I thought chords were too complicated and it just seemed very difficult, and so I just sort of put it away, and then I had a friend who played and he took lessons and he showed me a couple of chords, and then that got my interest up, you know. So I almost did not become a guitar player. But anyway, have fun with this and subscribe, and please like this video if it helped you out. This is a very basic riff. It's the first song in the book. I don't put these songs in my book because they're copyrighted songs, but if you know, look in the information of the of this video, and if you want to get a copy, I can send one for a small fee. But like the video if it helps you, and then subscribe, and then also go to Facebook and like my John Hedger Guitar Studio Facebook page. All right, thank you so much.